Right. Hey, folks, good morning. It is Saturday morning. We're going to do, this is my new early morning Saturday stream, and we'll be doing playtesting at brunch time today. So we're going to work on the martial powers. We're converting the Ravnica backgrounds from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica into the martial power system. So I'm going to do a mic check here on my channel real quick. And I'm going to go through an intro, so if you're catching this in the future, skip ahead a minute. I'll get through all the rigmarole. And mic check, mic check. I think I'm going through. Mic check, mic check. There I am. Good. All right, let's drop that volume back down there so it stays out of the way, hopefully. And then I'm going to do some quick intro here for anyone that's caught here in space time with me here and now. Let's see. Chunk, 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 junk. Okay, great. So my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, what's up? I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And we're creating content for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, namely the martial power system. It is a complement to the color mana spell point variant rules that I created that are already published on the DMsGuild. And it's a way of replacing the 8 schools of magic and the spell slot system that is default to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and replacing it with the color mana paradigm from Magic the Gathering that is also owned by Wizards of the Coast. They've published 3 settings in D&D that are inspired by Magic the Gathering. Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Strixhaven, Curriculum and Chaos, and the Odysseys of Theros. So those are all MTG settings. So when those were publishing, we weren't getting any kind of information. Like there wasn't any real discussion about color, which was the identity of how Magic the Gathering worked. That's why the MTG settings seem so strange to MTG enthusiasts, is because the color has been literally washed out of the system. So when that happened, the goal then became to reinfuse the MTG flavor of color back into D&D. So we replaced the 8 schools with the 5 colors, and we replaced spell slots with the color mana system. To, like, a fireball is a 3rd level spell, so it takes 3 mana to cast it. 1 has to be red, and the other 2 can be whatever you want. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can change what colors are in your mana pool to reflect the kind of spells that you want to cast. You can prepare, you can either study and research spells to be the colors that you want, or you can prepare them. When you are preparing, you can like double prep spells to change their natural color into something. Like if you wanted a white fireball instead of a red fireball, you could prep fireball normally, you could research it to be white, or you could learn it normal and then research and then learn it again in the actual colors that you want. So it's sort of a self-nerf that originally was helping bend down the power of the full casters versus the martials, hence the bridging the gap of the martial divide, but it doesn't quite get there. So we wanted to create the martial power system, which we'll now get into the focus of talking about today. The martial power system is on. Something's weird is going on with my screen. Is everything working out the way it's supposed to? Yeah, okay, you don't see anything wrong here. Okay, cool. Before we continue, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. We are here 10 times per week doing artwork and game design. Here is the entire playlist for the martial power system that we're developing. If you want to click here, it'll take you to the playtest document that we are literally working on right now. And we have 2 objectives today. One is to update the Ravnica backgrounds with the power system that is 117 some odd power, no, 170 some odd powers, 178 powers that either require mana or like cantrip effects that are powers instead of magic. Martial powers is the way to have all 13 classes in D&D use the same color mana resource, or just spell points in general. If you don't care about flavor of the magic, you can just use universal points like sorcerer points or bardic inspiration, or warlock. Like the word I'm looking for is monk. The monk focus points and sorcerer points and spell slots don't have, they're just universal resources that you just spend. So you can utilize the mana the martial powers and the universal magic system that we have, but it's designed so that you can apply templates onto it, like the 5 colors is one example where you have 5 different colors and you assign your mana to those colors to line up with what kind of spells that you want to cast. There's also the elemental system, air, earth, fire, and water, 4 elements instead of 5 colors. Again, if you want to cast fire magic, you need to have fire mana. It's very airbender, except that it actually uses 5e mechanics and represents the different elements. There's also light and shadow, which is a duality where you're using light or darkness to be able to cast different effects. There's a lot of different type of paradigms that you can create, but the 2 dominant ones are color and elements. So that's where we're playing the most. Let's see. We want to spend some time here in the document. So 2 agendas: updating the list of powers that each Ravnica guild gets, as well as updating the loot tables that we have for the actual playtesting. So let's see, magic loot, treasure, magic total 95. So the team has acquired a total amount of treasure. Let's see. It's around here somewhere. Current XP is level 3. To level 4 is 27. Need 1,800 experience points to get from 900 to 2,700. That's 1,800 experience points each. And roughly about 200 gold value is what you need to acquire, aside from magic items, about 200 gold per character. So that means that in a mega dungeon, when you're extracting loot as experience and you want to stay on curve with both your XP and the amount of wealth that you need to attain, that is going to be 2,000 per character. And if we're having a 4-man team standard, then we're going to go with 8,000 total gold that needs to be extracted from the dungeon for everyone to be on par. So the amount of treasure that we've actually acquired so far is 9,500. And so here's the amassed treasure: 6,650. A bunch of emeralds, scroll case that's artwork, an ingot egg sculpture made of silver, a silver dragon, a silver snake statue, a stack of pearls, like a bunch of little black pearls, gold leaf that they've scraped off of murals, more emerald eyes. Let's see. Emerald eyes. Geez, a lot of emerald eyes. More emerald eyes. All the dragon and snake statues in this temple that they're raiding. All the dragons and snakes have either black pearl or green emerald eyes. And the team hasn't quite assessed the differences between those things yet, but those are there to explore. And let's see. Coat worth each of scales for... Oh, yeah, not evaluated yet. So they haven't had a chance to look at that. Let's see. The magic loot that they have is an uncommon scale mail +1 made of quaddle feathers. A +1 scimitar. That's like a dragon. Looks like a dragon's tongue. They have a temple key of swirling blue metal that they haven't attuned to yet. There's uncommon mana crystals that give you an extra 3 mana when you're attuned to them, or you can crush them for an immediate 3 points of mana. We also have a few mana stones that are 2 each. These each take attunement to keep, so it's eating up their attunement slots, but giving them a larger mana battery in the process. And an absolute fuck ton of healing potions, which they could have used in a couple of circumstances, but were able to scrape their way out of it regardless. So this is all the treasure that they're chucking to gain a level, and then they've got 2850 worth of experience here. And so what is it? So they can afford to keep 1,500. That's 330. They can afford to keep up to 30 potions. They have equals. Hold on, let's edit this real fast. 2,000 loot. So whoever shows up at the playtest today gets to decide the fate of the remaining loot that's left over. the idea is to have a roster of characters, and then when people show up, they equip their characters with the loot that the team has decided to keep, and whatever they kept but isn't being used is just sidelined. 1,500 of magic they can keep. So we should put a double equal sign into 8,000 gain level 4 plus 1,500 of magic they can keep. So this is a shared document that we all have access to. And the next thing that I want to do is let's go down into, I think it's going to be faster to take care of the experience points than the backgrounds. So we should probably actually work on the backgrounds so that if someone's going to make a new character, they have access to what they need. Variants, magic paradigms, monsters using power. Okay, we want to go up here to the backgrounds. And backgrounds are ahead of the full casting conversion. So that should be somewhere around, yeah, here we are. We're going to think of it here. Okay, great. So we are going to extract, we have this saved document that we had created when we were doing a system overhaul of the martial power system with 2024. And so we had extracted all of the information about the backgrounds, and we're now able to reinsert them. So Azorius backgrounds. Let's just dig through. Let's just first transpose all of these over into the system, and then we can see of some of these powers don't exist anymore. So we need to do a system update in that sense, and get these things lined up. So this is going to take a few moments for us to work through that. But hey, Francois, good morning. How are you doing? So I'm here this morning for two reasons. One, because we're doing the martial power system at my normal lunch, during my normal lunch stream from now on, and so this is an opportunity for me just to squeeze a little bit of prep time in on screen this morning before the playtest finishes me off on being available for the day. Then I'll have my normal Saturday morning, my normal Saturday duties to attend to, which will include a lot of writing or page layouts for the Eberron adventure that we've been doing artwork for in the mornings. That's where most of my prep time, my off-screen time, is mostly spent on doing page layouts right now. I am looking forward to that becoming artwork, but it is what it is for now. But let's see. Hey, good morning. Just getting ready for hosting a game. Hey, that's sweet, man. Good times. Hey, that's sweet, man. No, I don't need that to be. Let's get this to here. So we'll take these two. We'll put the Boros and Azorius in place, and then we're going to go through the system and look for just to review it, all the powers that are listed here to make sure that they are the appropriate ones. To have assigned to each Ravnica background. Of course, Ravnica has 10 guilds that are there's 10 color combinations between. If you have 5 colors, God, can I word this worse? If you have 5 color system, like the Magic the Gathering system, you can have they're called pairings, like white and blue or green and red or whatever. They're color pairings, and there's 10 combinations of pairings that you can have between 10 colors. So the 10 guilds of Ravnica represent those 10 pairings, and the philosophy, each color kind of carries a philosophy that goes along with it. And like black is primarily like ambition, for instance, acquiring power and status for yourself. Good or evil doesn't matter. A good person needs to have status and power to be able to affect positively change for other people in their life, for example. So black energy isn't necessarily evil, but it's also the dark side of it is selfishness. So it's either self-improvement or selfishness is kind of well, blue is self-improvement, but it's also but yeah, ambition. Black as ambition is probably the purest way of expressing that. Blue's purity is probably innovation. Red is expression. Green is tradition, and white is unification. So like a government, a government is probably going to have white energy to it, whether it's corrupt or benign. Again, good and evil doesn't matter in the color magic system. It's not about good and evil. It's about personal values, how you treat yourself and how you treat the environment around you, and how those two things interact inside of the game world. So it's a fun alignment system that replaces, like demons, for instance, are typically black and red because they're incredibly selfish on the dark side of it and the nastiness of it. And then the nastiness of expression is impulse or violence or rage. So put evil, violent, rage, ambition together, and you have a creature that's willing to torture and hurt other people for maybe just its own pleasure. That's as dark as you can get with a black-red combination. But at the other side of it, you can have black-red in a positive space of, say, libertarianism that works really well, where everyone can operate independently, everyone can be sovereign and self-regulating, and able to acquire power to help other people around them as they please, not as they're obligated to do. Like that's a positive black-red combination. So everything has goods and bads, or taken to being dark and selfish, or self-motivated versus helping others. Like that's a white-black dynamic. So there's a lot of fun little plays together that you can get inside of an alignment system that's built around those 5 colors. And then once you get that inside of your campaign, since with this system and the martial and the color mana system for spellcasters, since all 13 characters are using these colors as the fabric of reality, like Forgotten Realms has the weave, and Magic the Gathering has colors. So if you were to imagine in Forgotten Realms, like if people were to express themselves as combinations of abjuration, conjuration, and necromancy, for instance, then you could see, like, you would pick those type of spells from those schools, but those schools don't mean anything. They're just mechanics to categorize different spells into different categories that has a very loose flavor, but isn't nearly as deep as what the color magic system is that Wizards of the Coast developed. So that's why we transpose or transplant the 8 schools with the color mana system, so that when you've decided what colors your character wants to be, then you can start building your character so they use those colors specifically to express how you adventure through the ideals and beliefs that you've adopted with the colors that you've chosen. So then you can align your spells that you cast with those colors. And with the martial power system, you can assign different colors to different type of disciplines of power that you're wielding, so that when you look at a Boros white-red character, when they're attacking something, you're seeing flashes of white magic in defense of themselves, while they're lashing out with red magic to, like with force damage or fire or lightning, thunder sort of damage. So there's a lot of ways to be able to just literally visualize what type of a person, or what type of a creature, or what type of a trap these different things are. And like color is like the most surface level. Like you look at that sword and it's glowing blue, maybe it does force damage, or some sort of like maybe it has like a psychic, like maybe it's an intelligence sword. It has blue energy to it. So it literally radiates blue magic. So you can key your world around the colors as ways of shorthanding emotions, different types of power or intention inside of your D&D game. It's a really flexible, intuitive system that it would be amazing if Wizards would somehow figure out how to use all this stuff, maybe with a bunch of books that are already on the DMsGuild. So, okay, so that's enough going on about color itself. Let me catch up with the notes here, and then we'll go through the Azorius, what powers we have picked out for Azorius and Boros, and then we'll skip down to the next set for Dimir and Gruul, and we'll just go through the whole process in that manner. And so let's see. Give me a chance to. Where are we at? Martial powers. Okay, well, if they all just say martial powers, then let's drop a couple of them so we can minimize our window load. And let's drop on down to the different powers. This gives us a chance to review the wording on powers as we go through these effects. But let me catch up with everyone in text here. What's up? Hey, glad you liked it, Steve. Dark Angel Green, hell yeah, dude. Blood Angel Red. That's great. I will stay filthy Xenos in this name. Never protects. Right on. Okay, great. So let's see. Quick interaction and quick investigation are they're listed as maneuvers. So maneuvers are things that you can do as a magic action or a bonus action. You can do them both in the same turn. You can use the same power twice in the same turn if you wanted to. We don't have restrictions about like cantrip versus spell. It's just because a lot of stuff you don't have to spend mana on at all. Coincidentally, there's only 20 spells in the entire game that are bonus actions, and 15 of them require you to make an attack first. So you make an attack, and then you spend your bonus action to cast a spell that modifies your attack. There is so little in the game that requires your bonus action that there's no reason, if a character figures out a way to cast a spell with a bonus action, that they can't just do it. The other 5 spells that remain, only 2 of them deal damage, and the rest of them are just defense, like shield. No, that's a reaction. That's right. There's only like 5 reactions. There's like 3 reaction spells in the entire game that are defensive. I did the math on this a couple weeks ago when we were streaming. That's right. Between reactions and bonus actions, there's only 20 spells, and only 5 of them deal damage. One of which is like what is it? Armor of Agathis, and let's see, shield, and Misty Step is defense. Let me think. I'm blanking. Counterspell is another reaction spell, but that doesn't actually deal any damage. It's very, very few reaction spells in the game. I'm having a hard time remembering what few they were, but when we reviewed all of them, there was so little. All of it was defense or protection, like getting like Misty Hop to create space, or shield bark skin, I think, is a bonus action to cast now. All these spells, other than your main magic action to cast a spell, everything is either defense or run away. So there's no real reason to prevent you from being able to use an action and a bonus action to cast spells in the same turn, if you even have a way to do it. So there's so few spells that allow you. Only the sorcerer can easily get access to casting spells as a bonus action, and it's expensive for them to spend the extra mana to be able to do so. So it becomes a really good shtick that the sorcerer can lean into as being unique. But having said that, since there's so little out there, a really great way to differentiate marshals from spellcasters is to allow the use of their power to just be ubiquitous, all instant sort of effects. If you have action economy, generally you can use it to generate some sort of a power. So you can spend mana on each attack, either attacking or damaging. So you can use mana twice every attack. And you can use for maneuvers as a magic action or as a bonus action each round. You can use a power for each of those. Reactions use powers, and movement also has exploits that modify your movement that uses power. So during a single round, like during your turn, you can use power with your movement, power as a bonus action, and then twice with each attack that you make if you wanted to. So like an 11th level fighter could use power up to 8 times during their own round, assuming they don't spend any extra mana to like to re-roll anything that they got. And then on their reaction, they can spend mana to create a reaction. And then if that reaction is to hit something, they could then also spend points to increase the attack and to increase the damage if you're successful at hitting. So over the course of your entire character, you could spend mana at 9 different occasions from the beginning of your turn to the beginning of your next turn. And you can use them all at the same, throughout the course of that. If you want to burn out your entire mana pool, you'll do it quickly by doing that, but it allows you to do that, but only in very small doses. While the full casters can crack out like 9 mana, like high level casters, 17th level plus, can crack out 9 mana in a pop, and then whatever they're doing with their bonus action they can do as well. So they have a huge pool that can spend larger amounts of mana in one go, while the martial power channeling system is a bunch of effects that don't cost a lot to do. So it stays with that, like, marshals can do stuff all day sort of balance versus the Flashbang Nova effect of full casters. That's where the balance point is. And when all 13 of these are integrated, you get cool Gish combinations of mixing your martial classes, gaining mana and all these powers, but in small doses that can sustain themselves all day, and attach that to a full caster that gets a fat pool of mana quickly and big Flashbang stuff, but doesn't have the same level of endurance that the marshals have. So you can make interesting blends for your Gish character at like a 317, 515, 911. Those are the three most natural split points for characters to swap from one class to another, because you gain power at the half casting at 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th, and then everyone gains their subclasses at 3rd. So like 3rd is your first breaking point, 5 to get 2nd rank powers with marshals, and then 9 to get 3rd rank powers with marshals, but on the other side still get up to 6th level spells as full casters. So you have a really fun mix that you can play with there. So quick interaction and quick investigation. These are maneuvers. They cost 1 mana, and these are specific. They specifically use the bonus action. So you can search and study. You can search and study as a bonus action. I should write this turn. This turn, period. This turn. Maybe that won't be necessary, but the quick help, so you can use the help action or ready in action as a bonus action, as opposed to having to use your standard action. Quick investigation. Normally it's an action to use search or study, but if you pop a point of mana, it becomes a bonus action. Quick interaction. Normally you have to use an action to influence or study something, but by spending a point of mana, you can take that action as a bonus action this turn. So that's what we do with the Azorius Synod at 1st level. And then so you have, actually this is breaking stuff down by renown. And then we probably want to put in parentheses here. As early as 1st level. And this is as early as 5th level. And this is expected to come in at 9th level. And this is expected to come in at 13th level. Hey, do you notice here how it's the half casting progression times 3 is the amount of renown you need to gain a rank in the guild, like the Azorius Guild here. The Guildmasters of the Guide Ravnica has it broken down into 4 tiers of 3, 17, 25, and 50. But we can expand on this. The Bastion system also has 4 tiers in D&D, Dungeon Master's Guide, but it's keyed to your level of 5, 9, 13, 17 without 1st level. So it's like it picks up the second, like it doesn't, none of it aligns. The Renown system, the Piety system, and the Bastion system, they don't line up with each other, but they could. If they were looking at unifying mechanics, and they should think about unifying mechanics to have a smooth power scaling, so you know what your characters are getting at different levels that align with the renown or piety that they're gaining in game with the story. These kind of like experience, these should all be tracking together. So we translated it into 5 ranks of renown to correspond with the 5 ranks of power that you gain with the 5 ranks of bastions that we've been working on in the Bastion campaign. So we're making everything smooth out with each other. And for the most part, the benefits that we get from each guild curves out appropriately with this stuff. And you can see here that we've got a Bastion integrated into the renown of our characters, so that you could, these are roughly the levels that things correspond with. But you could gain renown faster than you gain levels. You could gain levels faster than you gain renown. But regardless of whether you're tying your renown to your level or not, as soon as you require 15 renown, your guild is going to entrust you with a bastion to oversee resources and hirelings inside of the guild to serve you. So again, we're making the bastion system integrate in with the identity of your character in the guild of Ravnica based on the colors that you selected for your character. And if you knew you wanted to play Azorius, then you would build a character that naturally aligns with white or blue, white and or blue, or you create a intentional conflict with their own personal philosophies versus what the guild is supposed to do. Like I had a divine sorcerer character that had ties to Selesnya through Fey lineage. So but the entire lineage of that character's family was bound to the Azorius Senate as a means of paying off debt a few generations back. So when my character was born, she was immediately integrated into the Orzhov Syndicate, but has green mana in her blood because of Fae. So they ended up, the story is that she gets sent out to deal with the Selesnya community, the Selesnya Combine, that's the Selesnya Conclave, which exists between the urban environment and the wastelands of Gruul. That's generally where Selesnya is at, farming and taming the wilds that Gruul leaves behind as they continue to run away from the urban sprawl that grows. Selesnya cultivates the land, then Izzet comes in behind it and adds infrastructure. Then Azorius and Orzhov start creating institutes out of that growing community. So having an Orzhov Syndicate character with green mana in her blood makes her impure, and the entire bloodline is basically indentured servants to the church. What better way to take care of ilk like this than to send her off to collect taxes in the communal areas on the outskirts of the suburbs? Like, that's a good place for that character to go. And so a lot of Gruul and wilderness adventure options open up for that space where an Orzhov character normally wouldn't want to explore in those areas. So this character integrates well with Gruul clans, as well as Boros and Izzet, and naturally the Conclave. Those color combinations are on the fringes, either fighting with each other or attempting to tame the area to further society infrastructure and stuff like that. So there's a lot of really cool adventures out there. So that's the idea that goes on there. Right. Rally and Axiom Strike. I don't think Axiom Strike exists anymore. Let's first find Rally. Rally is the first rank maneuver, and this does exist, which is you and one ally that you can see gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the total of one power die rolled for each point of mana expended this way. And again, the characters have the power die, which is like a inspiration die, superiority die, martial arts die. It serves the same purpose as those three things. So at third level, I'd have a D6. So this rally power is I could roll one, and I can only spend one mana at a time until fifth level. I can spend 2 mana at a time. So the first 4 levels I can only spend 1 mana at a time, but every time that I do, I create D6 temporary hit points for myself and someone else. So temporary hit points are great because they're not actually healing. They add a buffer of damage without actually getting your character out of actual danger. So I really love the use of temporary hit points throughout the system, and I like that 2024 is curved into that too. So Axiom Strike, let's see if that still even exists. That's a strike power, which works like Paladins in 2014. You hit something, and then you spend mana and you deal extra damage through magic and some sort of an effect. So it looks like Axiom Strike, there we go. Your weapon can deal radiant damage and increases the damage by 1 power die per mana channeled. And since it's second rank, we can spend up to 2 mana when we do this, and at 5th level, the power die that we use is still a d6, so if I spend 2 mana, I'll do an extra 2d6 damage, and I'll get the benefits of this effect, which is the creature glows with faint light, negating benefits of invisibility or concealment, and the creature must succeed a charisma saving throw, or any illusion and shape-changing effect targeting the hit creature ends. The glow fades after 1 minute because all powers end after 1 minute, whether they succeed or not. So Axiom Strike still works, and it reveals the truth of things, so it's a smart thing to have. Blinding Strike and First Strike. So Blinding Strike is a strike, STR2. So let's look at what Blinding, there it is. Your weapon can also deal radiant damage. Radiant damage is naturally a white damage source. Here, just check this out. If you haven't seen the Color Mana system, all my books are free previews. So let's go take a look at the Magic the Gathering bundle. All the books I've created involving MTG here. Well, involving Color Mana anyway. So here is the revised Color Mana spell list. So if you click on that and you click on the free preview, we scroll down. Here's the 5 colors. Here's an idea of like what these colors mean in the mechanical language of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And here's how each 5 color, the 10 types of magical damage that exist in the game, broken down into the 5 colors. So we can see here that radiant damage is only white, while psychic damage is white, blue, and black, while poison is black and green. Necrotic is only black. So again, we see this paradigm here between white and black again, between radiant and necrotic energy. It's very intuitive to incorporate color into the D&D 5e setting. Acid being black and green, and again, these colors, these damage types per colors we came up with because we reviewed thousands of cards. A lot of them we reviewed here on channel over a year ago, looking at where are we actually seeing damage types appearing inside of MTG cards. Like for lightning, for instance, lightning is listed as red. You would think that maybe blue because of sky and water and stuff. There's literally only 2 spells, 2 cards in Magic the Gathering in the entire game that refer to lightning in a blue energy. So it's like, that's so nominal. It's probably, I think there were older cards before they had really locked down how elements interact with color, so I'm forgiving those 2. But 2 out of like 12,000, I didn't review every card. But after when I typed in lightning or electricity, basically 100% of it's red except for like a 0.1%, something like that. So white, blue, paladin, bard. Yeah, absolutely you can do. But you could also have like a blue green paladin. I'm sorry, like a blue green bard could very easily be like a folk hero, like a Skald, for instance, like a community defender. And but yeah, white for paladin is super intuitive. A white blue for a paladin could be like Oath of Glory, for instance, would be a great white blue card, because white of the discipline, and then blue for self-advancement and self-progress. Those are blue ideals. But you could also express that character as, say, blue and red in a Paladin of Glory, is sort of like innovation or reimagining themselves as more and more heroic champions for their people. So you could see blue and green, which is innovation through inspiration. Now that could very easily be a Paladin of Glory. White black could also represent a Paladin. I'm harping on Paladin of Glory because I'm looking at just providing examples of how you can take the different philosophies of each color and then blend them together to come up with the narrative of why your character is a Paladin of, in this instance, a Paladin of Glory. So Paladin of Glory, a white-black Paladin of Glory would be self-aggrandizing, looking to themselves as the exemplar of achievements and, say, acquiring power for the purpose of good, or so they would think. So there's a lot of different ways you can blend and push the color narrative into each subclass. So it doesn't have to be dependent on it, but there are natural tendencies that different types of spells have with different colors. Like in the instance of a bard, illusion magic is almost always blue. So just because from the cards that we see, there's so much illusion magic that revolves around blue in the cards, it just makes sense that all illusion spells are blue. So we do. So those are some of the ideas. What's up? Has interest in being charming. Right on, man. Let's see. Where are we at inside here? We're now looking at, okay, Blinding Strike. We're actually looking at Blinding Strike, which is, you go ahead and have loading issues. I don't care. Blinding Strike. Your weapon does. That's right. We're talking about radiant damage is white energy, and here's why, etc. White, white radiant, black necrotic, white black parallel, but can still work together. There you go. So Blinding Strike is you deal radiant damage with your weapon, and you can increase. So if you hit with a sword, you could deal slashing damage or radiant damage when you hit with Blinding Strike, depending on what's best for your character. And you increase your damage by 2. It's second rank, so at 5th level, I'd be using a D6, so 2d6 damage. When I get to 9th level, I get a D8. So if I spent 2 mana, it'd be 2d8 instead of 2d6. And in addition, the kicker effect is the creature is blinded, and they can attempt to end the effect by succeeding in a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns. But all powers end after 1 minute, which is a rule that we have up in the channeling, like channeling magic. How does it work? Here's all the mechanics that alter spellcasting to use power instead. It's not a big list. It's very simple. Martial powers are designed to be very, very simple. So it doesn't take you just got to see how things interact, and then you're pretty much good to go. It's very intuitive. So that's Blinding Strike, and then First Strike is an exploit. So Fabian is about control magic and counter magic, in addition to healing and holy defense buffs. Is this one of your characters? I don't know who Fabian is. While I wait for a response, let's go to... Oh, there you go. You cannot touch Fabian. He's too pretty. Let's see. We want exploits. And we're looking at First Strike is 3rd rank. First Strike, when you roll initiative, if an enemy is within range of your weapon attack, make an attack roll against that enemy instead. The result of the result of the attack roll is your initiative count, in addition to dealing any damage if the attack succeeds. So it costs you 3 mana to do it, but like this is something that an assassin would, like the assassin subclass for rogue. That's a super sweet thing for an assassin character to use, especially if you have advantage on the attack already, to get your sneak attack, your sweet sneak attack bonus in. It's sweet. Life Stealing Strike is 2nd rank strike, so let's bounce down to strikes. And you can see here that like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rank, we don't care about that. We don't care what rank the power is, because we have less powers in spells. We can have a lot more variety. We can increase the variety of what characters get at different rank or levels. Oh, I'm in Boros right now. Oops. Let's so this checks out. Roughly 5th level, or 2nd rank is when you get these things. Roughly 9th level. Those check out. Let's actually stay on task. Commanding Presence and Cursed Brand is where we're supposed to be at. So let's go to exploit. Hey, we're in exploits already. So, well, we were. Hold on. Commanding Presence. I don't think that exists anymore. Yeah, we scrapped that. Boy, this is old. Commanding Presence used to give you a boost to intimidation and persuasion checks, but that was a little too... it wasn't a good use of mana. It was too restrictive. So we wanted to replace those. Cursed Brand, I think, still exists, but now we get to replace this with something. Astral Elf from the Dark Side of the Moon with a suspicious directions. That's awesome. That's hilarious. Let's see. Cooperative Effort, Breath of Life. Commanding Presence was an authority thing, so we need to instill some sort of an authority ability. I'm thinking there's a maneuver that we have in here. 2nd rank is where we need to be at. Crap. Beguiling Trance is 3rd rank, so that doesn't line up anymore. Let's go. Let's instead take Mind Sense and drop that down into 2nd rank, and we can push Beguiling Trance maneuver 3. All right, maneuver, curse brand. Curse brand, you curse a creature that you can see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. The effect ends early when the creature succeeds a save against you. Now, otherwise, like everything else, it ends after a minute. So it's a disadvantage on saving throws until it can succeed a saving throw. I just think that's a fun mechanic. Because it could last a whole minute or it could end right away. You know, there you go. But you don't actually save against the effect. If you put something on, if you curse them, but then they don't have to make any saving throw, you wasted the curse. You want to start hitting them with save effects. Against you with disadvantage. So it's you that's targeting them with the curse against your effects, not other people's. So it forces you to interact with them, making them make saving throws. You don't just set this up for somebody else. Mind Sense is second rank sustained power. A sustained power is active on you until you finish until you're incapacitated, which could be knocked unconscious, or it's dispelled, which you can't counter these because they're not spells, but you can dispel them. Just like you can dispel any magic. So Mind Sense, second rank. You have to be at least 5th level to do this. Which is Mind Sense. Oh, wait, I think we pushed it to 3rd, right? Yeah, we pushed it to 3rd because it's really fun. Oh, fuck, we pushed it to 3rd. So, let's see. Let's see. We have Mind Sense is 3. I want them to have Mind Sense because it's a very Azorius. The Azorius literally have Mind Police and precognition mages that, just like with Minority Report, they're predicting future crimes and arresting people for them. It's a super fun. It's a super fun mechanic. Let's try this. I think Provoking Strike is a higher rank now too, but let's see. Provoking Strike. It's been a while since we visited these. I'm glad we are. We need to fix this stuff. Yeah, we don't have Provoking Strike. We have a Goading Strike at first rank, which is deal extra damage, and when you hit the creature, that disadvantage to attack anyone that isn't you. And the effect ends if they can't see you or if they hit you. And they can attempt an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of their turn to end it. I'm good with that. Goading Strike. Yep. And then I think countering attack is 2nd or 3rd rank. Let's go find out. It's a reaction. Let's see. Yeah, 2nd rank countering attack. As a reaction to when a creature within range of your weapon attack uses the magic action, make an attack. If it hits, the target takes damage and must make a Constitution saving throw against your channeling DC or half the damage dealt, whichever is greater. If the save fails, the action is disrupted as though affected by counterspell. If the attack misses, restore the mana to your pool. So you get to spend 2 points as your reaction to try to target somebody and hit them with a magic that's using the magic action, which includes spell casting, for instance, or whatever spell effect it is they have going on. It should say in there, and once we get the monster manual, we'll see are creatures using the magic action or not. And if they aren't, then we'll reconsider the language on this. But generally, you cast spells using the magic action. You activate wands and stuff using the magic action. So you're spending your reaction to try to stop them from doing what they do. And it's like counter spells, so they don't lose the resource. And if you fail at snubbing them, you don't lose your resource either, but you lost your reaction in the meantime. So it was a wasted effort. So you have to spend the reaction, and you have to make an attack roll, and they have to fail the saving throw based on the attack, or damage taken, to then lose the effect, but retain it so they can do it again. So in contrast, I didn't want to make this a first level spell, a first rank power, because I don't want you to have it at first level. But counter spell and dispel magic is available to full casters at 5th level. So making it a second rank power, so you also have a countering effect at 5th level, made sense. So that makes it a second rank power. So we needed to make sure we had a lot of caveats. It's a lot of work. You have to have a reaction, you have to make the attack roll, they have to fail the saving throw, and if everything lined up, then that effect didn't get used this turn, they get to use it next turn instead. So it's a delay tactic at best. So we didn't want to make it too expensive, but we also didn't want to make it too easy for you to get and to make it a choice. You could always take efficient power to drop the cost to 1, but again, you get to refund it if you're successful. So that curves well, because a 5th level caster is going to have somewhere around like something like 16 mana at 5th level. Hold on. Let's go double check that real quick. Again, all these books are free preview, so I can reference them at any time with you guys here. But if you think this stuff is cool and you want to buy a copy, I only need to sell 2 more of these bundles for me to get gold medal. So consider that. And when I update them for 2024, you'll automatically get the updated books for free if you just click in to download the updates. At 5th level, at 5th level, a full caster has 16 points, while our martial characters only have 5. So that is a 5-point. Is a 3 times difference between the two of them. So efficient power would allow you to buy it down to 1 point. It'd be 1/3 the cost that a caster would spend as a 3rd level spell. That you can do 5 per day as a full caster. You would, if you used efficient power, you could do it 5 times per day as a martial as well. So martials can stack and have as much effective firepower in countering or disrupting things as full casters do. I kind of like that parallel. I'm actually rather proud of that. So countering attack, that's good as reaction 2, and then beguiling trance we just looked at, but hold on, we found it, but we didn't actually look at it. So let's go look at beguiling trance. 3rd rank power. It's a maneuver, so we can do this as an action. We can do it as a magic action, bonus action, or twice in the same round. Where are you at? Beguiling trance. You can target a creature that you can see to make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it is charmed and cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You move beyond the range of the power, which is always 60 feet unless stated otherwise. As listed above, it's 60 and 60. 60 seconds, 60 feet. Very easy to remember. Range and time. Range and duration. It cannot take actions until you no longer see it. You move beyond the range of the power. It takes damage, or it succeeds a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. It's expensive, but it effectively it's 1 saving throw and you shut down the creature. Then it has to try to save its way out of it. Which you could then hit it with a branding curse to give them disadvantage on all those saving throws. And now we have castigation. Is that still a sustained power? Hold on, let's go check that out. Oh yeah, here it is. When you channel this power, it's a 2nd rank power, so it requires 2 mana, and you have 5 ranks. You have 5 slots that you can fill with 5 ranks worth of sustained powers. So at 5th level, you can sustain a single 2nd rank power, or you could sustain 2 1st rank powers if you want at the same time. At 17th level, when you get up to 5th rank, you can have 5 1st rank powers all active at the same time, or 2 2nd rank powers and a 1st rank power, or like a 3rd rank power and a 2nd rank power, a 4th rank power and a 1st rank power. You can mix and match them as you please up to 5. So castigation, when you channel this power, choose a creature that you can see. You always know which direction the chosen creature is while it remains on the same plane of existence as you. In addition, when you make a melee attack against the chosen creature, you deal 1 additional power die of damage. So you're basically you channel this power, choose a creature that you can see. And you always know which direction. So castigation is a sustained power, and you turn it on and it stays on. That's the sustained effect, and then you always deal an extra die of damage to that character. So this allows you to basically add an extra smite damage die to your tech, kind of like the paladin gets at 9th level. Well, this is something you could pay 2 mana and tie up all your sustained powers to do as early as 5th level to gain that extra power die of damage whenever you're attacking creatures. But of course, once the creature is dead, oh wait, that's a really good point. When you channel this power, choose a creature you can see. You always know which direction the chosen creature is in. In addition, when you make melee attacks against the chosen creatures, you deal 1 additional power die of damage. They can't save their way to end this. The spell ends early. It's not a spell. This effect ends. This effect ends if the creature is killed. Or you are incapacitated. There you go. Tracker. Mind Sense, sustain 3. Mind Sense. While sustaining this power, you can sense the location of and communicate telepathically with any creature with an intelligence above 3 within 10 feet times your max rank of power. By the time you get this, your 3rd rank power. So it has a minimum of 30 feet, but it can eventually expand up to 50. Within 10 feet times your rank of power, even those on different planes of existence. While sustained, you have advantage on ability checks using the deception, negotiation, insight, and intimidation skills, and advantage on attack rolls. You can communicate with creatures telepathically within 60 feet that you can sense. Within 10 feet plus 10 feet times your rank. So anywhere from 20 to 60 feet. There we go. You can communicate with creatures telepathically within 60 feet that you sense. You can communicate telepathically with creatures telepathically that you can sense. I don't need the 60 feet. And creatures sensed this way that don't have full cover can be targeted by powers as though you can see them. Let's see. Can be targeted by maneuvers. Creatures sensed this way that don't have full cover can be targeted. That don't have full cover can be targeted as though they have no cover. No, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. In addition, while you communicate with a creature this way, during your turn, you can determine if the creature has friendly, neutral, or hostile disposition towards you and your allies. The target of this effect can make a charisma saving throw to conceal this information. Creatures that are immune or resistant to charm effects can save with advantage. Communicate with creatures this way during your turn. You can determine. In addition, while you communicate with these creatures during your turn, if you can determine the creature has. There, we'll do that. Yeah, okay, that's the proper stacking. So yeah, it's a pretty good telepathic ability and mind sense that lets you target things even if like you can't see them. Yeah, okay, that's the proper stacking. So yeah, it's a pretty good telepathic ability and mind sense that lets you target things even if like you can't see them. You know what? Instead of, yeah. And then anchor. I'm good with that. Anchor as a reaction. Oh, I need to be paying attention to the time. It's 8 o'clock. So I have until 8:30, and then I need to bounce to get ready off screen for prep. So let's see. Anchor, reaction, 3. As a reaction to a creature you can see moving, teleporting, or shifting planes, whether voluntarily or forced. Before doing so, it takes 1 power die of damage per mana expended this way and must succeed a charisma saving throw. If it fails, it can't move, teleport, or shift planes until the beginning of its next turn. A falling, flying, or swimming creature targeted with this power remain fixed in the space it occupies until the duration ends. You can choose to forego dealing damage. This is actually a defense power as much as it is an offensive power. You can keep an enemy from escaping you by teleporting or whatever, but like if your character is going to get hit by a banishment effect, you could use Anchor to prevent them from being banished. They can't move, but they can still act. So big distinguisher there, and you can forego dealing damage because you want to make this a defensive tactic to help your allies not disappear or get teleported or even shoved. So you can see that's moving. So like if your character gets kicked off a cliff, you could anchor them to lock them in place, falling off of the cliff, so everyone has a full turn to try to get to them. It only lasts for 1 turn, so it's a fun stop, like pause button, like literally. And then hexproof. Hexproof is, I think that went up, didn't it? It's now 4th instead of 3rd rank because it's really good. Which is, as a reaction to when a creature you can see targets you with a spell or magical effect, you are unaffected by it wasting the spell or effect. That's higher than a spell magic. I have to be 13th level to get access to this in the first place. So it actually works out pretty well. And that's Azorius Senate. I should probably focus on the first rank powers to make sure I have all the first rank powers present throughout the book. So let's start focusing on first, because we're only 4th level anyway. I don't need to do the rest of them. So Radiant Strike, we know. Okay, so Radiant Strike. Let's go to Dire Impact. No, we're right here. Radiant Strike. So Radiant Strike. We know. Okay, so Radiant Strike. Hold on. No, we're right here. Radiant Strike. Oh, Radiant Strike got changed. Hold on. It's not called that anymore. Radiant Strike got changed. Hold on. Where'd you go, buddy? Huh. What do we change that to? Psionic Strike deals force or psychic. That's not quite right. Repositioning Strike, Restraining Strike. Boros, huh? Let's go with Flaming Strike's a pretty good one. Flaming Strike is your weapon deals fire damage and increases by 1 power die per mana channeled. In addition, it's con on fire, taking fire damage equal to the result of the highest power die rolled at the end of each of its turns. The creature can attempt to end the effect by spending an action to put out the fire or succeeding the dexterity saving throw at the end of each of its turns before taking damage. So if I roll 3d8 at 9th level and I roll a 7, that creature will take 7 points of damage each turn until it either takes an action to put it out or it makes a save. And then Dire Impact is a sustained power 1. Dire Impact is great. While sustaining this power, you add 1 plus your max rank of power to your weapon damage rolls. That first rank is going to be +2. In addition, when you roll 1 or more power dice to deal damage, any power die that rolls below your max rank of power increases the result of that roll equal to your max rank. So it doesn't really matter at first level because you can't roll below 1, but at 9th level, when you can roll a 1 or a 2 on a D8, it becomes a D3. It becomes a 3 instead of a D8. At 17th level, when you get a D10, if it is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, it becomes a 5. So you're increasing the minimum damage that you're dealing with when you're adding power dice of damage. So Flaming Strike, Dire Strike, Subtle Channeling, and Vanish. We looked at those already, but let's visit them again real quick. First rank power. Subtle Channeling. Show me. Oh, it's an exploit now. That's right. We changed it to an exploit. So, Subtle Channeling. Every time you channel a power, you spend 1 point of mana to... there's no visual evidence that you are the source of power when channeling a power. So, you can use a feat to make this free to use. Otherwise, it does start to stack up expensive. And then Vanish is a first rank maneuver. Which is you become invisible until the beginning of your next turn. There you go. And then Golgari. Let's go look at Golgari. You get the Poisoner feat, so you can make poison and poison your blade. Restraining Strike, a bonus action. You can apply poison to your blade and blah, blah, blah. Restraining Strike. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Restraining Strike. Your damage increases by 1 power die per mana burned. The creature is restrained by magical tethers. The creature can end the effect by succeeding a strength saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Size large or larger creatures roll with advantage. And then Poisoner is a feat. You can gain feats instead of powers. You don't gain any stat bonuses, but you don't have any prerequisites either. Now we're looking at Gruul. Which gets Goading Strike and Breath of Life, which we talked about yesterday. And we just looked at Goading Strike, so I'm going to skip it. Let's go down to a Zet. Keen Mind doesn't exist anymore. I don't think Adept Crafting does either. We might have to replace both of these. Hold on. Exploit. Adept Crafting. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. Let's see. Swift tools. When a tool or equipment that you can hold in one hand would normally require an action or bonus action to utilize, such as Thieves' Tools or consuming a potion, you can do so as an object interaction instead. So that's Swift Tool. And then Keen Mind as a feat, I think that still exists. Almost out of time. There it is. Keen Mind 2024. You don't get the ability score improvement because it's just prepared, but choose one of the following skills: Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, or Religion. If you lack proficiency in the chosen skills, you gain proficiency, and if you already have proficiency, you gain expertise in it. Not bad. Keen Mind's pretty good. And then Swift Tools, very useful. Let's go to Orzhov. And Life Stealing Strike is second. It got Inquisition, doesn't even exist anymore. Vex is a mastery. That still works. And let's see. We need a first rank power. Maybe there's let's see what we have in Sustained. That might make sense. Crouching Stance, Dire Impact, Empowered Ability, Extended Reach, Instant skill. Oh, Omnilinguist. That I like that. It isn't the most flashbang ability, but while sustaining this power, you can communicate with and be understood by any creature with a spoken language, and you can read any non-magical text. That's a decent Orzhov ability to tack on. It's the Mafia Church. Let's go down to Rakdos. Flaming Strike and Punish. I like that Boros and Rakdos both now have Flaming Strike. They are Boros is red, white, red. I like that Boros and Rakdos both now have Flaming Strike. While Rakdos is red, black. So they hate each other a lot. They both use red with passion, but one is for the community, the other is for themselves. Very, very fun. Very, very fun. Punish. I think, does that still exist? Let's find out. Reaction. First rank. No, Punish does not exist. Retaliate. As a reaction to taking damage from an attack, you can make a weapon attack against the attacker if it's within reach of your weapon. So we changed Punish to Retaliate. Same thing, though. But the word Retaliate's more universal than Punish, I think. And then Selesnya. And Beguiling Trance isn't first rank anymore. So let's go with Interpose and Rally. Let's look at those real quick. Maneuver and reactions. Interpose as a reaction. Oh, and Rally. Rally is the hit point, is a temporary hit points for yourself and an ally. And then for reaction, Interpose. As a reaction to when an ally within reach of your melee attack takes damage from a source that you can see, you can take any portion of that damage and gain resistance to it. We have, I think, a protection fighting style now that I think we need to look at. Protector, I think is what it's called. Feats. And let's go to tag. I'm looking for fighting style. Why these aren't alphabetical? Don't know. Couldn't imagine why these wouldn't be alphabetically listed in the tags list. Why is this so difficult for you guys? What's defense? Bonus to armor class? No. Interception. Oh, protection. There it is. Interception. When a creature that you can see hits another creature within 5 feet of the attacking, you can use reaction to reduce the damage. Interception. When a creature that you can see hits another creature within 5 feet of the attacking, you can use reaction to reduce. Interpose, deflect. Is a reroll. Increase the armor class. Within reach, you take some of the damage. I think that's what protection is. But what does interception do? You can reduce the damage by D10 plus your proficiency bonus. And protection, to interpose your shield, if you're holding one, you impose disadvantage on the triggering attack roll and all other attack rolls against the target until the start of your next turn. And let's see, interpose is you can take damage for it, and deflection is having to re-roll versus disadvantage from interception. Okay, great. Those are all different, so that's okay. And you can make these things free to use if you take a feat to reduce the cost to 0. But yeah, I'm pretty good with that. And Rally is good. So then Simic Combine is the last one. Let's see what Simic has us do. Fast and lycanthropy. Those totally make sense. But aquatic adaptation makes more sense. So let's do that instead. And then we can be fast. This makes the most sense. God, this makes so much sense. All right, so Simic Combine is all about altering your DNA to basically transform your character into something else or to enhance them. So, aquatic adaptation and lycanthropy. These are both sustained. You can't have them act at the same time at first level, but by 5th level you can. And they go like this. Aquatic anatomy. While sustaining this power, you can breathe water and you gain a swim speed equal to double your speed. In addition, you have no penalties to melee attack rolls for attacking underwater. And you also get lycanthropy, so you can switch between the two. While sustaining this power, you can shift form into a lycanthrope creature. Your appearance changes to adopt features of the creature of your choice, such as furs or scales, beak, claws, fangs, tails, etc. And you gain the following abilities. Meow Meow, heightened senses, gain advantage on wisdom, perception, and investigation checks. Perception and intelligence. Investigation checks. Feral Might, gain advantage on strength checks and saving throws. And then Natural Weapon, gain unarmed attacks that deal 1 power die of damage plus either your strength or dexterity bonus, your choice, that deal bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage, which is your choice when you channel the power. There. So, lycanthrope characters, the sustained power, turn it on, you are Guru. Or turn on aquatic adaptation, and you're from the Black Lagoon. Bam! There we go. Those are our prep powers. So I can let that one sit, and then we still have 8:20, so we still have 10 minutes left. So we can go back here to our table. 4th to 5th level is 3,800 experience points each. Plus 300 gold pieces. It's 3,800 from 2,700. That's 1,100 experience. Oops, I need to hit the edit button. So that's going to be 1,100 XP gained each, plus 300 gold piece gained each, equals a total of 300 gold piece gained each equals. That doesn't sound right. Hold on. $2,700. That can't be right. Hold on. No, I don't need to save that for now. Let's go down to the end table here. Look at our DM section. Yeah, 65. So it is 3,800. Yeah. Okay, I'm not crazy. It's 6,500. And then, oh, that's a big jump. No, it's not. From 4th to 5th level. Yeah, 700 gold each. So that's a 500 gold piece jump. That's correct. So that means we need 4,300. Equals times 4, 40, Jesus. 3,800 experience points plus 500. That's a total of 4,300 experience points each. That's 16. That's 17,200. That's a big fucking jump. Holy Hannah. Yeah, gotta gain 3,800 and 400. Whew. 100, 200, 400. XP gained, total gold. $27 plus 38 gets us 65. Then we need, and then 700 gold at 5th. Yeah, this is still like this column needs to be pushed up a row. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. 700 gold at 5th. Yeah, this is still, like this column needs to be pushed up a row. I'm not gonna. Total gained. Oh yeah, it is 300. Yeah, no, that is right. Yeah, so it's 4,100. 4,100 each, which is then 16,400. 16,400 experience points is what we now need, as opposed to 8,000 before. Jesus, it fucking doubled. It really did just flat out doubled. God damn, that's nasty. And then plus 1 uncommon each for a party of 4. There we go. That's going to be our next XP queue. XP equals 2,700. Current 4th, level 4 XP, level 4 XP. Need level 5 XP equals 3,800. No, 6,500. Thank you. 6,500. There. So I can grab all of this and drop this down into the DM's notes of past achievement. Here. And save. Plus. All right, so save. We are good to go for now. And it is 8:30, so it's time for me to bounce. I got some prep to do off screen with Mega Dungeon stuff building. I'll be on my Discord server, and prep. Actually, game starts when this is done. It starts in an hour, and we'll play for about 3.5 hours, and then hopefully we'll have somewhere between 3 and 5 people today, and we'll be able to sustain this for upcoming Saturdays moving forward. I'll be back on Monday morning to continue Eberron artwork. I'll be back Monday night to continue the Bastion campaign facilities. And then Tuesday morning, Tuesday lunch, Wednesday morning, Wednesday lunch, Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday lunch, and then Saturday morning like this and Saturday playtest. So that's my cycle. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, and I'll see you all on the other side. Cheers.